I just wanna go my own way. Gonna let the past burn down, cause honestly don't wanna be stuck in boring conversations with you. With you, I'm gonna leave it all behind. Find myself, I'm gonna start over new. Yeah, I'm on my way now. 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 I'll be going away for a while. Oh, and I don't know what I'll find. Maybe I can be a rock star, playing songs on my guitar. I know I have to be somewhere else to be able to find myself. Shouldn't be so complicated.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Here we go. Welcome back to another warm-up show of the Hockey Nation Live Show. This is our co-host directly from Thailand, Coach Frenchy, and we have to go all the way to find our co-host from Toronto. Welcome back, Mr. ENORTAP is in the house tonight.
Hello, Coach.
Here we go. How you doing, Mr. ENORTAP, on the Wednesday,
good, Coach.
October 6, 2022?
Yeah, all good, Coach. We're getting ready. This is the last couple games we're going to see. Friday, the season officially starts, even though it's only one game on Friday. But it's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah, it's coming very soon. And then, we don't stop here at the Hockey Nation Show. We continue to working hard to prepare everything we can do for the upcoming season. A lot of contents. First of all, the next 2 hours, 9 o'clock p.m. tonight. Honestly, 3 hours, but at the end of the show will be 2 hours. So it's not a subject anyway. But I want to mention to you where Mr. Trevor Neufeld of the Hockey Bars covered the Calgary Flame. Going to talk about not what exactly. Randy talk a little bit more, and we want to thank, of course, Randy Walkman. He's going to be with us anyways on the season, but Trevor talk a little bit more the upcoming year, like very closely, and give us all the update of the Calgary Flame, a little bit information about the Pacific Division. So I can't wait to see Trevor for the first time inside the Hockey Nation Live Show. So I can't wait to have Trevor for sure. And we have more.
Exciting.
Dan Wallace, Mr. ENORTAP, come with us Sunday night talking about the Minnesota Wild. And then we have next week at October 9, I don't know what is number 11, whatever they are. I don't know anywhere. I don't know. But we're going to get Mr. Sam Woo from the New Jersey Devils, going to talk about that team. So, look, we have a lot on the program. First of all, we have already a lot in front of us tonight. We're going to talk about the Metropolitan Division, where it could be very complicated if you do your projection and your prediction. We're going to talk about this in the next couple of minutes. And we have already some people in the house. Mr. ENORTAP, directly from Finland. He's with us again, Mr. Jarmo Vartanen. Welcome aboard.
Hey, Yarmo. Moi, moi.
And the captain with his Maclo, Mr. Jose Duarte and the Danny T from the Moderator Hockey National Show. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us.
Hey, guys.
Just
Welcome
talking about the
aboard.
Devils, Mr. ENORTAP. He's back from Texas. Everything is big, you know that. I still missing barbecue, but that's another subject for another time. Joseph LANHAM, he's in the house tonight.
Welcome, Joseph.
And like I mentioned to you, we always have James Bond around, but we have the real James Bond. That's the beauty of what we are. We have Vinny James 007.
007. Welcome aboard.
Yep, so right. And then, of course, like it's good to have him. If ever Danny have some problem, James can jump in and then he can clean up the house if you have to. And so be careful from New Brunswick. Yann Genev, welcome in the house.
Welcome, Yann.
And another Maclo, another moderator, Mr. Ron Whitkings, directly from Utah.
Good day, Ron.
And directement the opposite, is opposite of us, honestly, is from the, of course, West Canadian, located close to Edmonton, follow the Oilers on his heart, Mr. Andy Kuivula. Welcome back.
Welcome, Auntie.
So that's we welcome everybody so far, Mr. ENORTAP. That's all right. That's the beginning of the week. So beginning the first week and the warm-up show. So we still rusty, me and you. And then the people are so of the same thing. They wait for the season to start. We're going to a little bit more to have that kind of people show up at some point. But look, first of all, it was a black day in the Montreal Canadiens today. What are you talking about? But all the light was off today at the Brassard. I took a plane and then I show up at Brassard very quickly. I thought I maybe watching Joel Edmondson skating in the in the black and the dark and nobody watching him. So I'm going to be surprised everybody. No, didn't happen. Joel was not there. No, I don't know. You have a place they said last to found and cannot find again Joel Edmondson, by the way. So I don't know if ever someone can find somewhere, Joel Edmondson, please let us know because we don't know exactly what's going on with him. But listen, first of all, Montreal Canadiens start the early morning. I don't know what's going on with the marketing over there, but they wake up early, Bird, because yesterday, before it was Owen Beck, before 12 o'clock p.m., signed his 3 years contract. But the biggest news is today is about Logan Mailloux. Did the same with him, signed a 3 years contract, a little bit lower as the first overall pick usually get as the money overall, but still not complaining anyway to get those kind of money. But I want to get your impression about Logan Mailloux.
Well, in some ways, he's the forgotten person in this whole equation. We've been talking about a lot of the great prospects on defense that we have, and he's also one of those. I know he was picked at 31, but that's because of the situation that happened and him asking not to be drafted that year. Otherwise, I think he would have gone at least about 10 to 15 spots earlier. He's that kind of an impactful defenseman. He's got size. He's got a good, solid shot. He plays a physical game. I think it bodes well in the future in terms of Montreal's corps of defensemen. They're going to be very, very sturdy and rugged. He's done everything that's been asked of him. They were pleased because they waited, right? They didn't sign him when they first drafted him, obviously. This new regime waited. They put him through some protocol to make him hopefully a better person. That's always the aspiration for him. And from what they said, it looks like he's responded very positively. And you can consider this sort of the next step in his development. Of course, we won't see him this year, but he'll be there hopefully next year at camp, and then we can have a closer look. In the meantime, we'll see what he does with his team.
You're absolutely right about this. As described that way, Mr. ENORTAP, is Caden Coley is the gold for the Montreal Canadiens at the defense. Then we have now
Yeah.
the diamond, the Logan Mailloux. And then we have really great about him. And you know what? He's over delivery. When I said that, he did more what they expect to do. He be speaker. He talk about this. He go around different conference, and at this young age, he understood, and he did not go around to, he honestly did it. He said it, and he did it, and he said, I make a mistake, and I have to pay the price, and he did everything what they asked him, the OHL,
Yes.
you know what I mean, like the at the court, everywhere you can go that direction, and then the Montreal Canadiens open up $1 million to an organist talking about those kind of subjects. So overall, we have to go on the positive side. I understand if it was your daughter, I understand if you have daughters, and everything like that, right? But I think we have a society where I can mention on my apps daily news. We forgive and we give always a second chance. And I think we have to give that chance for that. And honestly, Montreal wait until to see if he's really ready to move on with the story and pay back what he's supposed to do. He did it. So for me, it's a great way for Logan Mailloux to come back. Now, he skated with the Montreal Canadiens Saint John on the ice, 1-1 coaching, everything like that. Now he's going to not go start with the Laval with the OHL. He's going to start with the Laval Rocket, Mr. NORTAP. When I said that, is skating alone with coach. He go on the all the kind of exercise with skating, power skating, edge work, everything. That's what he does. Honestly, he could not shot until now. He's getting a little bit better. He's very close to come back and play. He's going to have OHL. My biggest hope is going to be he can go to the Team Canada for the World Junior Championship. I think he did not get invited but first of all, we don't have any camp right away because usually the camp is a summer camp, but they play this year. So possibility we get 3 players over there, Roy, Mailloux, and possibly more, Owen Beck, and possibly Riley Kidney. Right. So possibly not get 4.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a great representation.
Exactly. That just give you an idea what this chance for the Montreal Canadiens on the prospect level about this. So we have a few people show up, Mr. NORTAP. RJ Calabro is back in the house. RJ, thank you so much
RJ,
to be with us tonight. Miss Kelly, your neighbor.
Hey, Kelly.
She's in the house tonight. Welcome, Miss Kelly. We have Terry T. Terry T is in the house tonight. Thanks so much to be with us at the Hockey Nation show. And that's what we got so far. Oh, we missed another matelot of the boat of the moderator, Mr. Luciano Graziano is in the house, Mr. NORTAP.
Lucky Luciano.
Yeah, so they talk each other. That's the beauty of that, what they do. And that's great to see that. And it's not over yet, Mr. NORTAP, because another bomb show up about a little bit, 4 o'clock, but possibly. I wake up at 3 o'clock now, 3:15, so I can get some news earlier, what I'm not supposed to hear, but I have my own team working on when I'm sleeping for 3 hours. So they tell me what's going on. And then they call me, Mr. NORTAP, Nick.
With the injuries?
What's going on with Nick Suzuki, Mr. NORTAP?
Upper body injury. It's for what I'm hearing. There isn't much. I haven't heard much detail about what it is. But it's him. It's Joel Armia, who we saw that yesterday in the game. He didn't play the entire third period, I believe, and then Heineman as well. Yeah.
I don't know how you can, Martin St. Louis said after the press conference Tuesday, and during the day, you can see the anxiety is, but possibly I need my freaking team right now. I want it. I don't want to play anymore with what we have on the home. And I understand that's the way they have to do because you have so many prospects and you want to take the right decision, right? But
right.
And they left the building today to go to Maritime for a couple of days. You go like, I don't know. You need to know your geography to figure out where Chandler is and the base. I don't know, but we're not there right now. If we need geography, maybe we can ask Jose Duarte. But right
They
now
went
we
out east.
cannot invite him. Right now we are busy anyway. And anyway, so my point to you is it's not looking good for Nick Suzuki. I understand we're still like what, almost like 9 days before the season start, maybe less, 7, 8. But what are your expectation? What do you feel about this?
It's hard to say because they've been very quiet, at least from what I see, in terms of how serious the injury is. What to what extent did he get injured? Because as you said, he didn't accompany. He and the other two did not accompany the team on their road trip to Newfoundland and New Brunswick. So maybe it's just precautionary, and they don't want to risk further injury to whatever it is they have. Uh, but it's looking like he might not start the season.
Yeah, so they decide to keep him in Montreal. So that's called for me right now treatment.
Yeah.
Now after Saturday, they stay in the Maritime Sunday, Monday. 2 more days for team building, everything, possibly Tuesday. I'm not sure all the the logistic of many days, but I know they stay after that to have that kind. Possibly, Suzuki take a plane and then join the team and to be around them. I don't know, but it's something we have to be follow up for sure because you can see one game he play and he make already an instant
An impact.
impact inside the game, and it's another team all without and with him, and they cannot miss him at all.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Um,
And he was really pumped to start the season and get this going, but hopefully it's not serious and it's just a minor setback.
yeah. So Yamo Sasuke won't be reevaluated until Monday, so he's already out. Yeah. Honestly, we know he's already out, but I was curious they were going to bring him over there because they want to make a kind of team building over there. He's the captain of the team, so that's the number one. The second is Joel Armia and Emil Eneman. All three are over body. That's what is what do you think about that situation for all three? For all
I
both?
think the Heinemann one, I didn't see how he got injured. The Armia one was a clear hit. I think it was in late in the first period, if I'm not mistaken, and it didn't look serious. And again, it might just be precautionary right now that they don't put him in the last two games. We'll wait and see. I mean, it that doesn't bother me as much because I think if we have to keep a couple of the forwards up before sending them down, we have plenty of bodies that are willing at this stage to go in, and I'm sure we'll do not only as well a job as he would have, but possibly even better. You never know.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
you're absolutely right about this. And then it's like the last 48 hours. I'm studying and I'm thinking and I'm trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be the part of the team, who's going to be out, what are you going to do, and you know what I mean. And it's very complicated, honestly. Are they going to start 14 7? How they start 13 8 in all those information, right? And then those kind of injury could push back all those decisions, honestly, and would be very interesting. I think the injury that Jordan Manson complicate more things for Montreal Canadiens. And if I was Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon and Martin St. Louis, from what we saw, they have Gaydon Cooley is really locked in. Like you can keep
Yeah.
him. But thinking about start Harris, Jacky, Whiteman, Schoenemann, Liskinen, that's freaking scary. That's Halloween
It
31st to 12 now.
No, you're right. I do understand your point, coach, but again, I throw out there, this is not a team that's going to be contending for a cup. It's not a team that's going to be even contending for a playoff spot. Sometimes you have to go in the deep end, and you have to learn to swim or sink. And this might be the perfect opportunity for these young guys. I think Harris has shown us good consistency. Gooley's been probably the best young defenseman so far in games and also the practice. And with Jack Eye, it might be just a temporary thing until Edmondson comes back. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I mean, you learn from your mistakes. It's when they don't learn from that's problematic, and you have to say, okay, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over, making the same mistake over and over. We practice it, and then you go out there and you make the same mistake 2 or 3, 4 times. That's detrimental, not only to the team, but to the person's psyche and his mindset, because he starts to doubt himself. But if every day we see a little bit of growth in those three guys, I think it can only help the team down the road.
Yeah, I feel for me right now it's time to get another defenseman and a waiver. I think you send
If
back
there's anything,
sentiment right now is not better to Jack Eye. Jack Eye and
no,
Harris is not like the best thing for me. If you go like this way, right? If you keep what you have right now, right? One of the young players not going to play game in NHL. He's going to be sent out of the lineup. That's for me my biggest problem. They're not going to start
I think
three
it would be
rookies
Shinneman.
as a defenseman one night against Toronto Maple Leaf.
I think if you pair him with three veterans, it's a little bit more.
It's too risky,
It's
Mr. Natal. You
it's a
see
little bit
this
more.
week,
Oh, I know.
they completely get destroyed. Whatever you talk,
Uh,
Jack Eye is
yeah,
fine. He's not fine. He's not fine at all. Like I understand what he accomplished, I understand his stuff, I understand those stuff, but he's not an NHL player. If you start with Schoeneman and Jack Eye right there, a Whiteman, we better to play bowling for the next couple of months because right now we don't have no enough to cover what we need. I think we need veterans right now, experience at the blue line to calm down everything. It's too fast for Jack Eye. It's completely too fast, and we don't at the beginning. We not have a full roster NHL yet. So for
okay.
me, it's too risky to have
Yeah,
three rookie in the lineup as a top six defenseman for Montreal Canadiens.
yeah. I don't doubt that, Coach. I see your point 100%. I'm just wondering, on slightly different note, why Montreal has been very quiet about Edmondson's injury, because this conversation can be ended right now in terms of, if we knew exactly what his injury is, when is his expected return of play. Because if we're talking 5, 6, 9, 10 games, it's not the end of the world that you have three rookies out there until he gets back, and then you're going to have four veterans and two rookies. But if it's an extended period of time, I agree with you 100%. I think that then they should they should possibly pick somebody up either on waivers or whatever. And I think the other opportunity is probably going to be for Slavkovsky, now that these injuries are there. If any one of Armia or Suzuki is more long term, I think we might see him start with the team.
If I'm Montreal right now, I trade Devorak. You need to open up. You have to open up a center spot, and Devorak is the best one. And if you watch Devorak, Mr. Notap, it's okay right now, but he's not the fastest skater in NHL. And
No,
right now, his
no.
value could become good, better at anybody or Hoffman. They need to go right now and to open up a spot for Sakaski and another spot for a rook, another prospect. And this, I don't want to name a name. I don't want to say Eneman or I don't know. But that would keep Peseda inside the team. That would keep him an extra player. And you can sit Peseda anytime. It's not a big problem. But to carry on those kind of, because Jake Evans, Mr. Natap at the 4 line is not helping your team. Pitlick at the 4 line is not helping your team. And we have too many passenger in the bus. We have that enough right now. I will ship him right away anyway. We don't need that enough. Like that cool. That's what they call him. That cool. That's he is. And then you have already Drouin, copycat of Dadonov, and then you have Hoffman, another passenger is already at the beach. I think we have too many right now, and honestly, we're going to get those three players. And everybody ask who's going to be on the winger from Caulfield
And Suzuki.
Suzuki. If Suzuki was playing, I'll tell you right now, the best player, smarter, and did it. It did many times. It's Sean Monahan. You need to move a winger, move a center, move Sean Monahan. Put him with them. The guy is strong, he's big, and if ever they need another center to pick it up, that you get him, and then that would be my best guess, and that would be my four line would be like this: Suzuki, Devorak, Jake Haven, and Kirby Dak. Unfortunately, that's the reason I said you need to trade Devorak in the middle of this line if you want to helping your young guys to develop more. That would be my suggestion for the Montreal Canadiens. They cannot start the season with what they have under the wing. You cut a prospect at some point.
Yeah, and so who would you have as your fourth centerman if you traded Dvorak and you moved Monahan to the wing?
So if you go that way with it, now you can go with Dvorak again. I will keep Jake Haven and Kirby Dak back and forth, 3 and 4.
And who's your number 2?
Dvorak.
No, but you
now
said,
if you trade him over there.
Yeah, if you trade
that's
him
what you question about this. Again, what you can do now, you can bring back Monahan on the second line at the beginning of the season. And then during the season, you can drop him a little bit lower, and then you can bring Kirby Dak if you need it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the only thing they would maybe thinking, Mr. ENORTAP, is possibly Monahan maybe not 100%. They are maybe worried about he could be hurt or they could be not ready to play the 82 game. That's maybe possibly another thing we don't know, honestly.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't think we're going to see any trades at the beginning. It's very untraditional. Usually, it happens as we get on with the year or at trade deadline time when they've got an opportunity to build up their resume a little bit and they have more of a trade value when teams are more desperate. Because right now, a lot of teams are pretty much at cap or slightly under. I don't know if they could afford. I know Dvorak isn't much, but still, they might not have that much wiggle room to put into their lineup.
Here we go. We have Mr. Real Del Prim is in the house, following by Manny Benavidez. Welcome, both of you, to be a part of the show tonight. Don't forget to click on the likes. We appreciate everybody here. And I want to mention, everybody, we are not live tomorrow night. Warm up, take a break. Why, coach, already? Week number 1. No. Montreal play tomorrow night, guys, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So I want to be sure you understand. So the game is on the Maritime. We know it's 1 hour before everybody. So that's the reason we don't have no warm-up show. We're going to go Friday night. And Friday, we're going to talk about the Atlantic Division. Tonight, we talk about the Metropolitan Division. I just want to clarify this so you understand. Before we move on to the next subject, we're already like 30 minutes out. This program is so quick. Do you think Sarkowski is going through stage fright?
No, I don't think so. I think he's finding his way, and I think now we've seen him twice in a row where he seems to be adapting quite well. Of course, the more he plays, the more he practices with the team, the better off he'll be. I love his attitude that, they told him after during the press conference, they said, you played much better. What are your thoughts about it? And he said, yeah, I did play better, but there's so much more that I can show, and that's what my goal is. And that's the kind of mindset you have to maintain.
You're absolutely right about, and I test the people right now. I look like on my vote is that more people want him to go to Laval. That's very surprised me because I think that a lot of, and you can realize the real fans, the people are really there to support Montreal. They're always thinking for the benefit, for the best for the players, right? For the Montreal Canadiens. They're always going to have the hater, the troll, and everybody else, right? And they are make more noise. Other people are more quiet. But I watch TVA Sport. I watch RDS Sport. I make my own pool, and most of them, over 60% people usually prefer to Sarkozy start à Laval. So before we go to Metropolitan, we're going to have only 22 minutes. We're going to rock and roll the show after that. Um, I know it's a little bit earlier. Without or with injuries, where's Sarkozy start?
Without injuries, if they're all present,
Yeah,
Suzuki
without
and
like Ski come back and Armias come back, example. Where's Sarkozy start?
yeah, I think if they're here, he probably doesn't start in Montreal. That's just my take. I know it's not very common that a first round pick is sent down right away, but I mean, I just wouldn't. I think he could benefit more just with a little bit more development. But I mean, given the opportunity, I see him possibly starting on. I would put him either on the second or third line.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put him on the top line.
not at all. I would not put him a second. I would put him on the third line.
Yeah,
I think is the great weight with there. He likes 225, but what we worry about. Not allowed Austin Ovechkin carry on 240 pounds.
yeah.
That's pretty amazing when you are already at 239 at 18 years old. So
Yeah, that's the key. That's the wrong stat you gave there, Austin. Unfortunately, it's not the 225 that is worrisome. It's the 18 years old that's a little bit more worrisome. And he's still a kid. We forget that. We think that they're all men, but they have to develop
I
and
think he
skate
can
into
do
their
exactly
powers.
what the New York Rangers did, and I think Montreal on the same level. Like when you like, if Arizona or Chicago pick up the best player, right, or they win the lottery, with that, they are completely not usually not many people there, like not a great hockey player or not veterans there. They rebuild, right? And now Montreal, when they pick Sarkozy, they still have a lot of veterans, the Gallagher, the Anderson, the Savard, and I can go all the way like this, right? So it's not like a young forward. They still have Army over there, Devorak and Monahan. And it's not like you show up and you can become top best three player right away. So the Rangers have the same thing, the Panarin, the Sarkozy, the creator, the grader, the Zibanejad. That time it was Renstrom who was over there. So he's protect him, put him on the third line. I think Montreal, that's what they should do. And for me, I would love to see him with Jake Evan and Rem Pitlick.
Yeah,
If you want to
yeah,
ask
that would
committee,
be
I know
good.
they like a Dak with him,
I like that. Yeah, yeah,
but I think it would be interesting to see that. Anyhow, Mr. Natap, 35 minutes talking about Montreal Canadiens. Well, we're supposed to talk about the Metropolitan Division. We're going to cut your time with talking about all the team offensively, and we want this channel is about the Montreal Canadiens at the beginning. We want to bring in some kind of news when we have something like this. But let's dive in, Mr. Natap, about
yeah.
this first one tonight, the Metropolitan Division. And I said, you know what? Let's start it with what we want to get. Why not starting with the best of the best, possibly. We'll see what
Carolina.
you're going to tell us. But I'm talking about the Carolina Hurricane, Mr. Natap. Look, 102.9, that's the prediction we have. 90% to make the playoff. That's pretty locked in. And then 7% to winning the Stanley Cup. That's pretty good. It's about 4 or 5% lowest at the top in NHL. And listen, they got Brent Burns, they got Max Pacioretty. Now they signed Paul Stastny. And, the key with there, Zed Jarvis, they have Martin Nekash, what we expect a little bit better, and possibly Jack Drury be a part of the beginning. They got Andre Case for the Toronto Maple Leafs. At the defense, where they already studied at the goaltender, Anderson and Renta. Steven with Burns. So they have, Pitchy with Sekech, and then you have Aiden Bear at that moment with Dylan Cutland for the New Vegas Golden Knights. We know Pacioretty is out. Overall, Mr. Natap, where do you see that team?
I see them in second place, not by much, but I'll tell you why. Because as much as they lost D'Angelo, but they picked up Burns. I think that's going to work out for them in the long run. At worst, it's a trade off. They lost Trocheck, but they picked up Pacioretty. Now, the problem is Pacioretty's out for an extended period of time, probably won't return until possibly the All-Star game, which will, at that point, will be a great acquisition, if you think of it that way, and will definitely help out a lackluster offense. And I don't mean that as a negative thing. It's just that they don't have very many scorers on this team. It's very spread out. There are a lot of mouths to feed, and some players have to step up. Kakanyemi has to step up. I think that Stastny has to continue to, deliver at key times. Um, and Martin Nikas as well. I think this is his year that he needs to make some noise for them. So because of that fact that they have Pacioretty out an extended period of time, I'm going to say second place.
Not allowed. I go them right away first play. No team close to the Carolina Hurricane and that division. And I'm telling you why. Zerjavi is going to score 25 goals. Sebastien Ao is going to reach almost 100 points this year, Mr. Nortap. This is the year right now. He remind me a lot Barkov, where Barkov break out at some point, like he jumping for 16, 18 points. That's what Sebastian is going to get. Shevnikov is going to be back with a 30 goal. Teravainen is under the one over there. And I think Martin Nakash right now is going to get out of the year number 2. And now he's going to be back. And that team of defensive, the number 1 defensive goal against, I don't see this team going. Nobody can stop who they are. Without Pacioretty, imagine when Pacioretty was going to show up. That team will be the most dangerous team in NHL. Top 3 NHL in my eyes at the end of the year, Mr. ENORTAP. Number 1, I know what you tell me you're going to give me under the team number 1. I will tell you the reason why. And I want you to pay attention what they have on that lineup so far. And I'm going to tell you why the other team have more questionable about that team. But let's move on now, guys, for the next one over there. Roger, go Abs. Welcome aboard. Thank Austin to be with us tonight. We appreciate a lot. And then we've got a bit, a team make some noise during the summer. Honestly, top 3 with lot of noise on Sven Ways. With signature UFA the trade. And I'm talking about the Columbus Blue Jacket, Mr. Nata. 76.6 only point. 3% make the chance to win the playoff, to be in the playoff. 0 chance to win the Stanley Cup. We know Goodrow, Jenner, Laney, Voracek, Roslovic, Nick Wish, Ken Johnson, Cole Zillinger, Kirill Marchenko. 3 rookies in NHL. Chinakov, another rookie, Sean Corrali, Boston, Eric Robinson, and then at the defense we have Bovis Wawrinski, Karvikov, Gobranson, Andrew Peke, and Jake Bain, then Mesiclin and Corpusalo. It's your turn, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah, it's tough. Like once you get through the top and the bottom of this division, everybody else is in such a mix.
Great point.
Like I definitely see improvement with them. It obviously picking up Goudreau is a plus. It allowed Laney to sign with them. But if you look up that middle, coach, I don't want to be too negative, but you got Jenner, Sillinger has to really step up. Roslovic has to step up. They really don't have a number 1 centerman, and I think that that's going to cause some problems. With their defensive group, they're okay. They're not great. I think once you get through that first pairing, it's a little bit dicey. I see improvement in the team, but there's still a lot of holes to address, and they got to hope that Elvis has a great year in net. Otherwise, they're going to be chasing from behind quite a bit. So I, unfortunately, had him around, I think it was 7th in the division, but they're just in the same mix as a couple of other teams like the Devils and Washington. It's tough. It's a tough division to predict.
My biggest concern is another team gave 300 goals again last season, Mr. ENORTAP. So whatever they're doing well, that will give them about 260 example, and they're going to see about 60 more goals to Carolina and the Rangers and their division, and about 30 more at the Pittsburgh and Washington if they can do this. and they can score. They have number 262. They are the the third team, and that's Dijon with the more goal, 4. So
Yeah.
they don't make the chance. They have no chance to make the playoff for sure about
No,
this.
no.
And like you said, the lottery at the bottom, you can mix the ball, and you can have better chance. Like I have, I put them like number 7 in that division, barely, um,
Yeah.
barely over New anyway. So that's what I'm thinking.
I know what you're saying.
Here we go. Talking about them, Mr. Notap. He's the monster to get an amazing, great year. Jack Hughes and Mr. Notap. If everybody stay healthy over there. We have Palat, they signed a contract. Jesper Bratt have a great year last season, 73 points. Urshire, unfortunately, is out already. Jack Hughes with Dawson Mercer and Sharakovic. We talk about prospect, young age, young guns, what they are right now. Andres Johnson with Eric Ola, Thomas Tatar, Nathan Bastian, and Jasper Bovis with Niall Wood, and the defense Graves with Jefferson Hamilton, Sean Schrader. Then you get Brendan Schmidt and with John Marino. Vanecek and Blackwood are the goaltender. 90.4% playoff, 39%, one chance to win the Stanley Cup. What you thinking about the New Jersey Devils?
I'm just hopeful that Vanecek can be a steady presence in the crease. After the Devils last year used, I think it was a total of 7 different goalies at different points of the year, and that was their problem. But I mean, you look at those forwards that they have; they're loaded, and they went and picked up Palat, which I think will bring a good level of experience and cachet to the team. Guys like Mercer and Hughes and Nico, Jesper Bratt, a lot of promising Bolquist, like a lot of promising young players that are going to be on the verge of being stars in this league. So these guys can score with anybody if they can keep the puck out of their own end. And I also expect a slight rebound year from Dougie Hamilton. Last year, I don't think we saw the true version of him. But the big question mark again is in net, and they were part of that mix that I was talking about in the Metro. I have them ahead of Columbus for 6th in the division.
First of all, welcome back from British Columbia. Luke, welcome, and Stu Peterson. Welcome.
Hey, Stu.
I want to call back to you, Mr. Notap, because I think we have a great point here. And I tried to find his comments here. Jesus, I forgot. Let me think about this. Try to find out. I said, this I need to get. Here we go. Completely agree with him. Lindy Ruff may be the first coach fire, Mr. Notap.
I would say 2nd. But yeah, I can definitely see that. He's been there for a while. He sometimes, he's going to have his hands full making, all the pieces fit together. And, given his track record, I'm not sure that he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So you might need
absolutely about
somebody
this.
that...
I predict the new coach for the Devils, guys, is going to be Andrew Brunette.
Maybe. Who knows?
I'm guaranteed this right now. He's already behind the bench.
Is he? Okay.
Yep. I can guarantee this. You're going to say, Coach, he was all right again.
We'll see.
Joseph said that Fabien Zederland and Oz should beat out Jesper Bovis for a spot this year. A great point. My only concern, Joseph, is this because I searched a lot for the Montreal Canadiens, whoever. Listen, the problem with them, it would be Fabien Zederland, he has to go through the waiver, not Oz. So for me, if they have to pick up one of the two, Joseph, they will keep Zederland, because if not, they have to put him on the waiver, and he have 8 point and 14 game. Obviously, is a player like he's another European player where they not go too much on the traffic, but he produce. So it'll be interesting. I know a team Joseph is going to get Zederland. They could put him on the waiver, so it could become a very important move from the New Jersey Devils. I'm watching. If it could happen,
Like a
maybe I
hawk.
will be the new coach. Here we go, James. Possibility going to apply, Mr. Notap. So it will be interesting. Um, I know we put him on the screen right away, Mr. Notap. Signing an 8-year contract at 9.125. I think Lou is getting tired. I don't know what's going on with Lou, but Lou is going to surprise us all the time. No moves on summer. Now you get the biggest contract at anybody in NHL. Never reached the 70 point. And I'm talking about Matthew Barzal. We're not going to talk about the contract, honestly, because we have too many things to talk about tonight. But 89.1, 34%, 0%. That team is missed. It's another Dallas Star in the Eastern. If you want to compare to Dallas Star, that's who they are for me. They can bring the team all the way up, or they can go down all the way down. And they have a new coach, Lane Lambert. Not many change in the lineup. If you can watching them, they have not many new players around. Honestly, they have possibly one of the best defensemen under 23 years old, Noah Thompson. But again, this all about Zorokin can carry on that team good enough for all the way with Varlamov. But what is your take about this team?
Well, if we look at the Islanders, the Islanders went from being one win away from the Stanley Cup Finals in 2021, to last year missing the playoffs with a variety of different factors that contributed to that absence. This is a team, again, I had a hard time really saying, you know what, they might push forward or they're going to totally drop off. Like they're the most volatile of that middle group that I was talking about. I think defensively they did a great job in terms of adding Romanov and they're going to get obviously I think Noah Dobson will have will really evolve this year. So they're strong. They're strong defensively in every aspect of that word. And I think with Sorokin and Varlamov, they'll be fine in net, and that's what will keep them in all their games is their defense. Do they have enough to score up front? Where are they getting that secondary scoring? If Barzal doesn't bring you, if he doesn't bring you, anywhere close to 70 points, you're in trouble with this team because nobody else is going to give it to you. So I worry about them. I have them. I gave him the benefit of the doubt and put him at 5th place, but they could fall off the map.
Yeah, absolutely right about this. First of all, we welcome King of Gamer and Joseph said this to Ron. Yes, he's right. Joseph Ron Brunette is already the assistant coach over there for New Jersey Devils. We just talked a couple of minutes ago, Mr. Notap, the jacket, the New Jersey, the Flyers, all three teams are 300 goal again. On the flip side, Islanders don't give goal. They have only 237. They are number 3 in that division. The problem, they cannot score a lot.
Offense.
They have only 231, and that could put them the lowest team at the goal. So if you balance again the same way, keep them not many goals, but if they don't score 30 goals more at 250, that don't give them again enough. They will get to compete like Washington, not enough. So for me, Islanders will be very hard to flip the switch to get there. They're going to compete, like you said, the Columbus and the New Jersey. And anybody in the chat, you and me, you can be, figure out, and nobody would be right because you have too close team, or the fact the Flyers at the bottom, they can get that 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. William McClary, Mr. Notap, King of Gamer, are in the house. Paul, sorry about that.
Welcome, guys. The big news, I think, in the offseason was I was convinced that they were going to land Goudreau. So that was the major disappointment with the Islanders.
Yeah, absolutely about this one over there. And, when you have Robin Salo and Manfield third pairing like Salo, it's not too much right there. I like the fact you have Romanov in the back, but still, I don't think so. That's good enough to make that team. Here we go. The New York Rangers. I was waiting to talk about it because now I'm going to show to you a lot of things here.
Yeah, show me.
New York Rangers, Mr. Notap, 95.4, 6 points behind the Carolina, 64% to play up, 2% to win the Stanley Cup. If you look about this, you change Randstrom and you add Vincent Trochet. It makes sense?
Yes.
You put back Sammy Blais and you bring now Vitaly Kravtsov and you remove Frank Vaderano on that one over there. And the bottom, you can flipping like, the Mickey and those, depth chart. It's no big deal. At the defense, no change. They are returning. Liber Ajek on the left side. You can put Jones there, of course. And then you have Chesterkin, of course, for the best goaltender in NHL with Vasilevsky. And then Alak or Domingue. It's no big deal. That's your turn to talk because I can wait to what you're going to tell us, sir.
Well, I'm just gonna say that the Rangers, they have a fascinating forward group with what they hope is the perfect blend of both young and older players, and I think that that's the case. The key things will be if Kaku and Lafreniere take it to the next level, which they were showing towards the end of the year, and especially in the playoffs. I think that will go a long way to help this team flourish. I think Trocheck together with Panarin is going to be a lot of trouble. And Kravtsov has been having a great preseason. The missing guy in all of this was the fact that the Rangers lost Sammy Blais, the entire year last year. He got hurt, I believe, either game one or just before the season started. And don't sleep on this guy. This guy has great speed. He's got great hands. And I think he's going to go perfect on that third line with Lafreniere and Scheidel. And then you look at their defense. You got Fox, you got Trouba, you got Miller, you got now Braden Schneider, who's a great prospect for them in the lineup. And who's that guy in net? Oh yes, Shesterkin. Anytime you have Shesterkin, coach, Shesterkin,
Okay.
whatever.
Is it like a
Anytime
kind
you-
of hamburger? Do you have a McDonald's like a special weekend or something like that?
No, I think it's called your Vezina Trophy winner. Yeah.
I see.
And
I
anytime
see.
you have that, it doesn't matter how bad. Like, remember at the beginning of the year, they couldn't score if their life depended on it. Who kept them in it every single game? It was Shesterkin. And if he continues like that, they will be in every single game, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. And I like that they picked up Halak as well because he's a competent backup. So I see this team winning the division, again, primarily because Pacioretty's not in the lineup for Colorado. Your turn.
If I ask you a question, the Metropolitan Division,
Yes.
who scored the most goals?
Who will score the most goals?
Which team?
Oh, well, it won't be Carolina.
You're absolutely
It
right.
won't be Carolina. Probably New Jersey.
No, you're absolutely wrong. Carolina.
They scored the most goals?
Yes.
Oh, we're talking. Oh, I thought you were asking me for this upcoming year.
No, for this
Who's
last
gonna
season,
score?
the other team scored the
Yeah.
most goal over Washington.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and that division, Rangers, where do you put him with goals for in that division?
Again, for this upcoming year?
No,
or from
last
year?
season,
Last year they were, I think, third,
4.
fourth. Okay.
That's my biggest problem over there. Problem, they don't have no right winger at all. 0. Like
I don't know.
0. All 4 you have Kako, Kravtsov, Blais, and Reeve. It's all 4 bottom 6. All 4.
No.
All 4.
I respectfully disagree with that.
All 4. Tell me who is the top 6 on that one.
Wait till the end of the year, and then you'll
No,
see.
who is a top 6 on that one?
Well, a top 6, I would put Kako and Kravtsov, exactly as you see right
Kako,
there. Right
29 points.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say, but you're basing it on 1 year less of development. This guy, they signed him on as an extension for a reason because I
Yeah,
think
but
they
right
still
now
believe
you
in him.
you predict with if and hope. It's like I
No,
was said to you, they don't have that kind of the winger over there. They look like exactly what the Florida Panthers are on the left winger. Over the fact they are better with Carter Verhey. The rest, it's all. I hope they can become who they are. And when you do this, it's not work. So they don't have that kind of player to top six. That's the problem they have over there. Because that's the reason I put them number two. Because now everything could change in Mr. Tap. If they get Patrick Kane, everything like that, we don't get that way yet. But for me, that's the reason I put them Mr. Tap second, because they don't have enough strong on the right side of the team at this moment. The future, I don't know. Not easy, Mr. Tap, to repeat Vizina Trophy. Not easy. That not have a lot of goaltender did it. Only Bobrovsky the last 12 years, I believe.
yeah, but you just have to be elite. Look at what
The great thing
Vasilevsky
about
does
this,
for
they're top
Tampa.
six defensemen. They are maybe the top best five team, maybe top three best defensemen in NHL. With
Yeah,
Carolina and Carolina, they are maybe the top best three.
yeah, and their goaltending,
I know.
they're solid.
So,
They're
we're
solid.
going to remember this one, Mr. Tap. Coach
We
said
will.
Minnesota over St. Louis. You said St. Louis over Minnesota. Now I said Carolina over
Yes,
Rangers. And you said Rangers over Carolina. So it's something we're
you
going to
got it.
follow up, Mr. Natap, the next couple of months for sure about this. But first of all, Mr. Natap, we want to welcome Melissa back in the house with Alan Barnes. Welcome both of you guys with us.
Welcome,
Let's
guys.
see you about this. Coach, how does Jack Hughes, Trevor, and Brennan Point sound for center lineups fantasy? Look great, King. Not good enough to beat me, but good enough to be at the top five
Or
in the
me.
fantasy league. Kaku is mostly a passer. If you get 20 goals, that's very good about Yamo. But
Sure.
Greta will score so many goals.
Yes.
Under or over 45 goals for Greta?
Exact.
What?
Exact.
Exact 45. As I knew,
Yeah.
I know my prediction already, so I know that. Joseph said Chesterkin did not looking good so far. Yeah, it's an off season, so I understand.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry.
Hey, Mr. Bill Al Abdelmark is in the house. Welcome back, Mr. Bill. All right, let's move on, Mr. Natab. They will be quick. I think we should not put the graphic. We should put a picture. It should be John Tortorella to judge him more than anything else. Talk about the mess. Talk about any words. And I respect all the Philadelphia Flyers fans. But this is not looking good, honestly. They are ready more to go to WWE to play hockey. But they are expect very shortly. I give you 1 minute. We're always 6 o'clock. We have 2 more teams to go.
Yeah, the ceiling is quite low right now for them. You only hope that having brought in Torts, that he sort of takes no prisoners and helps reestablish a baseline for the Flyers, because there was a lot of a lot of angst last year, and this thing got worse. So I I don't see very much from this group. They
Yep.
have some good individual players, but collectively as a group, I think they have to address their climate and their environment first before they think about seriously being in hockey games.
I was said to you, and I said that, but it reminded me a lot of Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Tap. And one way, I'm not talking about the prospect with that, but they have a lot of bad contract with like Montreal has, and until they don't clean up, like GVA will be out
JVR,
next year with
yeah,
$7 million, and Montreal we lost $20 million, right? And I think they are helping them because their defense is not bad at all when we're thinking they are. Because Provorov is not bad. Tony D'Angelo is a top 4, right? Travis Sanham,
not
nobody talk
defensively.
about him. You talk about the great defenseman underrated in NHL, and nobody talk about Cam York. Cam York is a solid defenseman, young prospect in NHL. I not said they are the great defensemen. I just said they have a lot of good assets on the defensemen compared to many players and many. I think the defensemen, Mr. Notap, overall are better to Montreal Canadiens.
Well, they're more veteran, obviously. Like,
but I just want to mention this, like, you know what I mean, like that. And Carter Hart is a questionable. I know said we know they're going to be at the bottom of the at the bottom of this division. Let's move on there. Here we go. They all got the card for the McDonald's. They gave them a free coffee for 55 older. They're going to show up every morning, Mr. Nata. Before they go to the ring, they stop at the McDonald's. They get the coffee, free coffee. It's all for the people are over 55, and they play hockey. The morning they play hockey, and I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Whatsoever they are, you already know who they are. Honestly, really top 6 is very good. Top 9 is pretty good, and bottom they still have a good players. Madison is out. They got Jeff Petrie in return. At the bottom 6, pretty good. They got Jan Ruta, another great asset, goaltender, pretty good. So it's a team looking the same way they was last season. Mr. Tap. 100 point for that team. 81% playoff, 4%. It's a bit more than the New York Rangers, by the way.
Yeah, and currently, I think they hold the streak for the team making the most consecutive playoff years. But you're right. Like we're still looking at the same old. But when that same old is guys like Crosby and Malkin down the middle and Carter, you're going to be strong. These guys make their wingers that much better. Gunsel really is becoming, I think he is, not just becoming an elite player in the league. Ryan Rust had a great year. They picked up Raquel. I think that helps. Zucker is decent as well. And you remember all the injuries they had to endure last year. And Sullivan, and that's a definite plus for Pittsburgh. Sullivan does a great job of galvanizing this group and making sure that they're focused, and really had Jari had been healthy last year in the playoffs, the results could have been a different story. And we saw not that it killed them, the goaltending that they got, but it wasn't Tristan Jari. This guy is a very good goalie. I think he's underestimated. I have Pittsburgh finishing 3rd in the division.
You're absolutely right about that division. I'm going to give you, and remember, Tristan Jarry right now is going to be UFA at the end of the contract, at the end of the year. So expect him to have a really good year overall. He was going to fight for more money for sure. We want to welcome KLS is in the house, by the way. And bold prediction, Mr. Notap, Sidney Crosby, 100 point.
I would love to see that, Coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get.
I understand. That's just a bold prediction. It would be great to have him to have a great year like this. But the key of this one with him, Mr. Notap, is Jake Guenzel. For me, is really another player we have considered him, but another great Kai Connor for the Winnipeg Jets as a copycat with Jake Guenzel for the Pittsburgh for the Penguins. So we are great number 4, Mr. Notap, and number 3, and then we have I try to give you the best description, right? It's a bunch the guy where they said, you know what, we can go out until 4 in the morning. We go be sharp at 9 o'clock. It will be fine. They put a new rules at the Washington Capitol for the upcoming year. They put some kind of that you have to to have the balloons right before you go on the ice. You have to testing each one of them if they go under the limit or not, and they have to refuse them if they cannot put. Usually you have mask. They allow the COVID because they wear the mask, so they cannot see what they smell like, look like, right? But now without the mask, it will be very important. So the Capitol decide to put a tester before you go on the ice. They have to blow out this balloon, and it's 0.08, and they go over. Obviously, they have to be back in the locker room. They have to go to the gym. And that's the new rule they have at the Capitol Washington with Peter Laviolette. And I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, Mr. Natap. I know a lot of insight what's going on with around the team, Mr. Natap.
That's why you're the GOAT.
And Mr. Natap, pretty much the same thing. Now, the sadness about them, they're going to miss Nicholas Backstrom and Tom Wilson. Nobody talk a lot about Tom Wilson. Possibly will be out for 9 months. It's another
Carl
older
Hagelin.
team with ODJ and Ovechkin. I love Anthony Manta over there. They got Connor Brown. The third line is maybe one of the best in the NHL. The defensemen, not much changing, honestly. Other than the fact they lost Justin shows Eric Gudson is on the lineup. That's maybe a red flag over there. But 96.9 point, 71% chance, 3% win the Stanley Cup, and finishing there.
Coach, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, the big question for Washington is, can they survive the early season? The Backstrom, Hagelin, Wilson being out of the lineup, it's going to really hurt them. And I like the fact that they brought in Kumper and Lindgren, so they went total 180 with their goaltending. And Dylan Strome is going to be a solid addition up the middle there. But the guy I really love, and I'm a little bit biased because I've had the opportunity to not only see this guy play hockey, but he was also on my baseball team when I was teaching, and he was in my classroom as well, and that's Connor Brown. Like, this guy is such an underrated hockey player that I think he's ready to make a huge step forward this year and be a contributor for this team. Unfortunately, having said all of that, I still think that they're going to come very close, but they're going to finish on the outside looking in.
You're
of the
absolutely right about
playoffs.
this, Mr. Natap. Will be very interesting to follow up. And I'm always agree with you about Connor Brown and
Oh, yeah.
Williams, 16 of the 30, 16 plus or over 30 years old, Mr. Natap. Maybe he's on the team go to McDonald's early in the morning. Who knows? Would be interesting to
Geriatric.
say that. Yeah. Who knows what happens? So great comment about this. What do you put them?
I have him just on the outside looking in for a playoff spot. I don't think
Yeah,
they'll
that
make
will
the
go for me
playoffs.
4-1 for sure, Mr. Enartap.
Yeah,
That's
number
conclude, Mr.
4.
Enartap, our selection of the Metropolitan Division. We look like we are almost agree. Again, 1 and 2 is we are disagree, but I think it's pretty good to do that. We did pretty good on 38 minutes. That's pretty good. We have a question from King before we go. And he said that, I'm sorry, it's the bot now because it was under the screen, but he said, how far do you see Anaheim from the
From their
postseason?
next postseason, 2 to 3 years.
Minimum
Not this
3
year,
years.
not this year, next year for sure.
Yeah, definitely about this. I agree with you. But they have money. That's the beauty about they have, and they not commit too much with Veterano and Strom. So Pat Verbeek is a great solid GM. I believe he's learned a lot under Steve Eiserman. He have a lot of connection playing each other a lot, and so that will be another team to watching in the next couple of years for sure. Very good stuff over there for the Anaheim Ducks for the upcoming couple of years, Mr. Enartap. And I think anything you want to add at the end of the show? First of all, we want to thank everybody to be a part of the show. Stay tight, guys. And 1 week from today, we'll be close to start the season. And we'll go to make some kind of prediction, Mr. Enartap, so the people expect more. We want to remind everybody we are not on tomorrow night. Why? Because the Montreal Canadiens play. And secondly, Mr. Enartap is busy, but it was the most important thing because Montreal is play. And we'll be back Friday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll talk about the Atlantic Division, really this one where the most of fans are here talking about the Atlantic Division. And then next we're going to continue the show. Don't forget the next 2 hours are going to stay at 9 o'clock p.m. Tonight. We have Trevor Neufeld from the Calgary Flame, another rider, but this one is for the hockey bars. And before we leave, Mr. Enartap, we always ask you, what are you looking for? Honestly, what do you have on your mind right now?
Well, I'm looking forward to your interview tonight that you have with us, with our guest lined up, and we're also waiting to see what these final last cuts are going to be, and who hits the waiver wire. That's going to be big news.
Yeah, absolutely right about this. Austin, thanks so much. William, can wait. Thanks so much for everything for everybody else. And then King said, Coach, Pose, you're trading block.
He doesn't trade. This guy never trades.
Here
I
we
send him a
go.
trade.
So that's the reason, King. I really trust. I'm a little bit the Bob Brav of the fantasy hockey. When I select player, I have a reason. I have a purpose behind my players I select. I make some move, but I don't trade a lot. I just want to mention about this one there. If you want to have a tip, watching
Talk
for
to me,
Pavel
Len.
Rentera for the Anaheim Ducks. Look about him. I just want to helping people. That's my purpose behind it. I want to help you on the fantasy. Try to beat me. So look for Pavel Rentera. If not, I'm going to take him. So I'm give you 24 hours. So if you want to make your homework, you can figure out about this one over there. And that's conclude Mr. NOTAP, another show, episode number 3, year number 2 of the Hockey Nation show. And before we leave, Mr. NOTAP, of course, we have to remind everybody.
What if I open my soul?
Awesome. You are amazing.
Here I
You
stand by
are the best.
myself.
And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Always a pleasure to working with you, Mr. NOTAP. We are the best duo on the YouTube channel. It's not like only like 46 billion people does not know yet. But maybe one day they will going to figure out we are better to Tony, to Guillaume, and to La Perrière. But we're not going to talk more about Maxime, everybody else, La Page Bleue, whatever they call them. We are the best of the best, Mr. NOTAP. We are humble. We know who we are. We are, of course, we have a cart at the McDonald's to go get your free coffee. But this is another subject. We can talk about this. But before we leave, want to remind everybody, of course, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate you. What, Mr. NOTAP? Your second app of what?
Year 2022.
Here we go. You nailed it again, Mr. NOTAP. We wish you an amazing, great night, a sweet dream. Not sweet dream yet, you guys. You have to come back at 9 o'clock. So take so much, Mr. NOTAP. Have a good night.
See you. Good night. Good
We
night,
love you, people. Thanks so much, everybody. We appreciate that.
Just let me be. Oh, oh, oh.
Don't forget to vote on the fantasy hockey.
What do I know? What's going on now? Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I let go? I do really want to know what's going on now. Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I say so? We're just putting on a show.
We want to thank all the moderators of the Hockey Nation show. The group was there. The team, it was all him tonight. Thanks so much, everybody. All the members of the Hockey Nation show, thanks so much. Not a problem, King.